What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the AI Marketing Navigator. This is your daily compass in the ever-evolving world of AI marketing. Okay, today we are talking about a new tool that was just announced by a team of researchers from Microsoft called Spreadsheet LLM, or Spreadsheet Large Language Model, basically. And essentially, this is a framework being developed by the team to allow large language models to process spreadsheet data or structured data, which is a huge gap right now in the capabilities of these models that we have access to. And I think we can all imagine how much those capabilities would improve if these models were given this well-structured, well-organized historical spreadsheet data, which is literally the backbone of most businesses and has been for decades since spreadsheets became a thing. So this team of experts from Microsoft brings together people from various fields within computer science and AI, obviously, and also being able to leverage Microsoft's extensive experience in spreadsheet software with Excel. I will go ahead and link to the research paper so you can check out all the key contributors on the team. It also brings in experts in areas such as natural language processing, machine learning, etc. And again, the team's affiliation with Microsoft is particularly significant. Obviously, Microsoft has a vast set of resources and data sets at their disposal, and with their investment in OpenAI as well as their own AI Copilot, they have significant resources and significant investment into the advancement of AI. And the fact that they are willing to push the limits as far as giving these models the go-ahead at hopefully being able to process spreadsheet data and spreadsheet reports is going to definitely keep them right at the forefront of the pack of AI innovation. So the core of this Spreadsheet LLM is essentially its ability to efficiently take spreadsheet data and compress it and encode it specifically for consumption by these large language models. And again, this is something that these traditional LLMs, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Llama, to name a couple, really struggle with, basically due to the expansive layouts that are often used across multiple spreadsheets that people have used in their businesses, the multivariate formatting across all those spreadsheets, and just all the different types of spreadsheets that businesses use. And they often have very complex structures, but all of this complex data leads to exceeding those token limitations. So there are a couple key components to Spreadsheet LLM. The first is the actual encoding framework itself that takes the data from the spreadsheets and compresses it into a format that is, again, digestible for these LLMs in particular. In this report, they call the framework Sheet Compressor. And the report goes on to say that it consists of basically three separate components or modules, the sheet compressor framework, one being something called structural anchor-based compression, which, as I understand it, essentially identifies the data that is similar and the data that is dissimilar within the spreadsheet and basically condenses all of that into, quote unquote, a skeleton of the original spreadsheet. The second component of this sheet compressor framework is called inverse index translation, which is uses some fancy code in a JSON format for all the developers out there to create an index, or basically a dictionary almost, of the cells that contain data in these spreadsheets. And it looks like it also does some merging of duplicate content. The final module, or the final component in the compressor framework, the sheet compressor framework, is called data format aware aggregation. And it sounds like it finds data within the spreadsheet that's of a numerical type, numerical data, and does some clustering of cells like that that are adjacent to one another and have those similar numerical formats or numerical types. And it sounds like doing that clustering reduces some of the load on the LLMs. Okay, so that's the sheet compressor framework component of this Spreadsheet LLM model. The second component is called chain of spreadsheet, COS. And apparently that was inspired by something called chain of thought prompting methodology, which is really just the concept in prompting these conversational AI models, the concept of leading them along a chain of logical reasoning or through a path of logical reasoning in the hopes that they can replicate that reasoning in their own task performance. So they kind of extend that idea and that concept to spreadsheets here with chain of spreadsheet, where the framework will basically break down the spreadsheet into essentially reasoned tables, and use something called spreadsheet table detection, which basically identifies all the tables on a given sheet as well as their ranges. And this is something that Spreadsheet LLM does incredibly well. This table detection compared to various LLMs, traditional LLMs anyway, when they're given the spreadsheet data versus the compressed Spreadsheet LLM format. The report says they tested the framework using various LLMs like ChatGPT 4, GPT 3.5, the Llama models, Llama 3, Llama 2, and a few others. And essentially what they found was when they provided the LLMs with this compressed LLM specific data, the performance improves significantly. Some of the findings of the research included the fact that models that were fine tuned with this Spreadsheet LLM framework actually outperformed baseline models by 13 to 27% in F1 scores for table detection. And basically, an F1 score is a common metric that's being used in machine learning and statistics to measure the accuracy of the machine learning model, basically providing a single score that kind of balances the ratio of the precision of the model as well as the recall for the model. So 13 to 27%, pretty significant improvement in scores for these models when they're using this framework. The framework also showed particular strength in handling the larger spreadsheets compared to these traditional models, larger sets of data, which makes sense. The entire point of the framework is to compress the data. So hopefully you'll be able to process much larger data sets using fewer tokens. And it sounds like that is definitely the case. And one more finding notes the improved performance in the context learning scenarios, which to me just sounds like another step towards smarter AI or AGI. So obviously it's not too hard to imagine the implications of Spreadsheet LLM being made available to the public. And if we can, as businesses and marketers, take our large amounts of spreadsheet data that, again, really does form the backbone of the majority of the businesses around the world and have the best AI models be able to learn and train themselves based off that data. Obviously, we benefit with enhanced data analysis, much more automated reporting, far improved logical, hopefully in context decision making from these models. Hopefully, the natural language interface that we use right now between us and these models can improve and become even more human and realistic. Imagine the predicted capabilities that these models might have given years and years of historical spreadsheet data. It definitely adds layers to things like competitive analysis and analyzing the data that's available on your competitors. And we just talked in yesterday's episode about how AGI, or an AI model that has the capability to reason with more context over greater periods of time and with more data, what that could do for calculating ROI or optimizing ROI in our businesses, on our balance sheets, and in our marketing campaigns. And so obviously the implications are pretty incredible. Of course, there's always a bit of thorns along with the silver lining, if that's a saying. I guess I just made it one. And a huge thorn here is data privacy and data security, which we've talked about before. And obviously, what we're talking about here is offering up huge amounts of data, likely proprietary confidential data in the cases of many businesses, which before something like Spreadsheet LLM can really be used practically is definitely a problem that will need to be addressed for sure. Anyway, okay, so that does it for today's episode. If you enjoyed the show or found it useful in any way, please do me a favor and follow on Spotify or subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. A review on top of that would be even more appreciated and so helpful to the show. So until next time, as always, thanks for joining me, and remember to stay curious, stay consistent, and keep navigating forward.